There was a time in America when dessert didn't come from a plastic package. It came from one humble bowl, a wooden spoon, and a little ingenuity. When money was tight, but hearts were full, our mothers and grandmothers turned simple pantry staples into sweet, unforgettable comfort. Tonight, we're revisiting 10 cheap one-bowl vintage desserts seniors made when life was simple, and every spoonful felt like home. Number 1. Watergate Salad. Watergate Salad may have had a fancy name, but it was born from economic necessity and pure kitchen ingenuity. When meat prices climbed and budgets tightened, dessert had to be affordable, filling, and made from whatever sat quietly in the pantry. A box of pistachio pudding mix, canned pineapple, whipped topping, and a handful of marshmallows, stirred together in one bowl. That was it. You could hear the soft fold of the spoon against the glass bowl, the gentle squish of pineapple chunks releasing their syrup. The kitchen smelled faintly sweet and nutty, a cool contrast to a hot summer evening. Maybe you remember your grandmother in her faded apron, scraping the bowl clean before Sunday supper. It wasn't fancy, but at a crowded dinner table, that pale green fluff felt like a small, sugary victory. Number 2. Glorified rice. Glorified rice was the kind of forgotten dessert that turned yesterday's leftovers into tomorrow's treasure. In an era when wasting food simply wasn't an option, leftover white rice became the foundation for something surprisingly special. A little whipped cream, crushed pineapple, maybe a handful of cherries or marshmallows, whatever the pantry allowed. It was an economic necessity, dressed up for Sunday supper. As the spoon folded everything together in one sturdy bowl, you could hear the soft, sticky rhythm of rice meeting cream. The scent was light and fruity, with that faint sweetness drifting through a warm kitchen. You might remember it chilling by the window while church clothes hung neatly nearby. And when Grandma set it down on the crowded table, her apron dusted with flour, it felt less like leftovers and more like love stretched just a little further. Number 3. Orange Dreamsicle Salad. Orange Dreamsicle Salad was pure sunshine in a bowl, especially during years when real luxuries were few and far between. It became popular because it felt indulgent without costing much. Just orange gelatin, vanilla pudding, canned mandarins, and whipped topping. No oven, no fuss. Just one bowl and a bit of patient stirring. That was kitchen ingenuity at its sweetest. As the powder dissolved, the air filled with a bright citrus scent. Sharp, cheerful, almost like opening a fresh orange on the porch. The spoon made that soft, creamy swish as everything blended into a pastel cloud. Maybe you remember it at a church potluck, sweating gently in the summer heat. Grandma would smooth the top just right before placing it beside fried chicken and deviled eggs. One spoonful was a sensory explosion, cool, creamy, and hopeful, even when money was tight. Number 4. Peanut Butter Fudge. Peanut butter fudge was the kind of hearty sweetness born from pure economic necessity. When chocolate was too expensive or simply unavailable, peanut butter stepped in as the kitchen's secret hero. Sugar, a splash of milk, and a generous scoop of peanut butter melted together in one sturdy saucepan, then poured into a single bowl to set. Simple ingredients, stretched with ingenuity, creating something that felt almost luxurious. You could hear the gentle bubble on the stove, that soft hiss as sugar dissolved, and the thick, glossy swirl as the spoon dragged through the mixture. The smell? Warm, nutty, and comforting, like roasted peanuts drifting through a modest kitchen. Maybe you remember your grandmother testing it with a butter knife, tapping the pan lightly before cutting neat squares. At a crowded table, those crumbly edges tasted like more than candy. They tasted like resilience wrapped in sweetness. Number 5. Rice Krispies Treats. Rice Krispies Treats were proof that even the simplest cereal could become a treasured dessert with a little ingenuity. When budgets were tight and ovens needed to stay off in the summer heat, this one-bowl wonder made perfect sense. Just marshmallows melted with butter, then folded with crisp rice cereal. No baking, no fancy tools, just economic necessity turned into sticky magic. You could hear that familiar snap, crackle, and pop as the cereal met the warm marshmallow mixture. The spoon made a thick, stretchy pull, and the kitchen filled with a buttery sweetness that clung to the air. Maybe you remember pressing it flat with wax paper while Grandma stood nearby, apron tied snug, warning you not to lick the spoon too soon. Cut into squares and passed around a crowded table, each bite was chewy, crunchy, and wonderfully simple, just like life used to be. Number 6. Fruit Cocktail Delight. Fruit Cocktail Delight was the quiet hero of pantry desserts, born from cans lined neatly on a shelf for uncertain times. When fresh fruit was expensive or out of season, that humble can of fruit cocktail, pears, peaches, grapes, swimming in syrup, became a small miracle. Mixed in one bowl with pudding or whipped topping, it stretched a few pennies into something company-worthy. That was economic necessity, dressed in sweetness. As the lid popped open, there was that soft hiss, followed by the syrupy splash into the bowl. The scent was sugary and bright, with a faint metallic whisper from the can. Stirring created a gentle slosh, colorful fruit gliding through creamy folds. Maybe you remember Grandma draining it carefully at the sink, apron strings swaying while cousins squeezed around the table. It wasn't fancy, but it was hearty, hopeful, and lovingly shared. Number 7. Banana Split Fluff. Banana Split Fluff was the clever cousin of the soda fountain classic, created when going out for ice cream wasn't in the budget. Instead of scoops and syrups at a counter, families brought the magic home with bananas, crushed pineapple, chocolate bits, and whipped topping, all folded together in one faithful bowl. It was a kitchen secret born from economic necessity, turning simple groceries into celebration. You could hear the soft slice of banana against a worn cutting board, the gentle plop as fruit slid into cream. The smell was sweet and tropical, with that faint cocoa note drifting through the air. Maybe you remember it chilling beside lemonade on a hot afternoon, Grandma smoothing the top with a careful hand. Around a crowded table, it tasted like summer vacation, even if you never left town. Number 8. Grape Salad. Grape Salad was one of those forgotten church basement treasures that felt fancy without costing much. Fresh grapes were affordable in season, and when folded into sweetened cream cheese and topped with a sprinkle of brown sugar or chopped nuts, they transformed into something unexpectedly elegant. It was ingenuity at work, taking a simple fruit bowl and turning it into a dessert worthy of Sunday company. You could hear the soft snap of grapes as they were rinsed, rolling gently in a colander. The scent was fresh and bright, mingling with the creamy sweetness as the spoon folded everything together. That first bite delivered a sensory explosion. Cool, crisp, creamy, and just a little crunchy on top. Maybe you remember it sitting proudly beside casseroles at a potluck, Grandma adjusting her apron and smiling as neighbors asked for the recipe. Number 9. Dirt Pudding. Dirt pudding may sound playful, but it carries its own vintage charm. Long before themed birthday parties were extravagant affairs, this simple one-bowl dessert brought joy without straining the grocery bill. Chocolate pudding, crushed cookies, and a little whipped topping layered together, it was affordable, filling, and pure imagination during times when every dollar mattered. You could hear the steady crush of cookies inside a paper bag, a rolling pin tapping rhythmically against the table. the smell of cocoa drifted through the kitchen, rich and slightly bitter-sweet. As the spoon scooped down, it made that soft, earthy crumble meets cream sound that made children grin. Maybe you remember serving it in a simple glass bowl, not fancy cups. Grandma would chuckle at the name, apron dusted with flour, while little hands reached eagerly across the table for another scoop. Number 10. Cookie dough dip. Cookie dough dip was the quiet evolution of a timeless kitchen temptation. The spoonful sneaked from the mixing bowl before cookies ever reached the oven. When ingredients had to stretch and baking wasn't always practical, this no-bake treat became a clever solution. Flour, heat-treated, mixed with brown sugar, butter, and a splash of vanilla, all stirred together in one bowl. It was ingenuity meeting thrift most sweetly. You could hear the soft scrape of the spoon along the bowl's edge, that thick, creamy drag as everything blended smoothly. The smell of vanilla and brown sugar filled the air, warm, cozy, almost like cookies baking without ever turning on the oven. Maybe you remember Grandma swatting a playful hand away, apron pockets full of measuring spoons. Shared with graham crackers at a crowded table, it tasted like childhood mischief, simple, hearty, and wonderfully homemade. Those were the desserts that proved sweetness didn't come from wealth. It came from ingenuity, love, and a well-used mixing bowl. When life was simple and money was tight, these forgotten treats filled kitchens with comfort and crowded tables with gratitude. If these recipes brought back a memory, share it below, because the America we forget is worth remembering together.